There's a difference between do not resuscitate and bury me in the backyard. There just is. Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer, coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks that were so graciously gifted to me by our former content genius that you know and I know is Michael Rivers, to God rest his soul. Today we're reacting to, make sure it's done, both Lorenz Kraus interviews confessing to killing his parents. This is a cold reaction, but just given the set and how goofy this looks, this might be a good one. But let's just see what we got going on here.
All right, Lawrence, well, thanks for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it. We'll get to the statement, but first we want to talk about the more recent event, actually the prior events and now the more recent events. Take me back to the summer of 2017.
Okay, if you have any kind of exposure, the last thing you want to do is vomit your story out on the airwaves. Anything he says, anything. If he says, I was in a chair, I had a knife, I had a gun, there we were at the kitchen table. Here, anything he says is fair game to hold against him.
What happened to your parents?
My mother wrote me a note, which the police must...
Look at the glee on his face. He wants to tell this story. Right?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Which the police must have now. Describing her walking across Whitehall Road. I'm not Whitehall, Wolf Road. And she fell down on her face. And she had, when I saw her a week or so later, yellow and green, black and blue marks from this. And she wrote that down, and that was a situation that became a problem because when
of course it's going to become a problem because you killed them.
elderly start to fall down, the time comes that they start to, beginning of the end. And my father also had cataract surgery, and he lost his vision to...
So he couldn't see me coming.
double vision, so he couldn't be he couldn't drive. So they were losing their independence and so forth. And my mother had a brother who had Alzheimer's, and my father had a sister who had Alzheimer's. They were both in nursing homes. My mother had a second sister who also had Alzheimer's, and they put you in a bed, they put catheters into you, they rip your teeth out to try to keep you, the whole 9 yards. So this is in the back of my mind.
I don't know any procedure where they rip your teeth out. I mean, when you get elderly, if they're infected, I suppose, but is it me or does this guy look too much like the Wild Bill from Silence of the Lambs?
Who do you fuck with?
So you didn't want to see them deteriorate and go through that, did you?
And I'll mention, the police know about my sister and having to see my sister die from cancer. I was 16, she was 14. Go through 9.
So what I'm gathering from this is kind of a mercy killing. He didn't want to see his parents, decline and go through this, so he killed them in the effort to make them suffer less. That's not an excuse. I've had many a case where a husband, basically, it's usually the husband that does this. The wives usually don't do this. But the wife is going through something and, she's terminal anyway, so he ends her life thinking he's going to end his life, but then he chickens out.
Go through 9 months or so of, the agony of cancer patients. Mm-hmm.
So did you kill your parents as a mercy killing to put them out of their misery?
You
can be honest with us.
I know. I'll leave.
And it's just us here. There's nobody else here. It's just, and the cops aren't going to listen to this, are they?
I'll leave that for the statement that I put on your website.
The statement doesn't mention that.
I know.
The statement does not mention that.
Right.
I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What did you do to your parents?
I buried them in their property.
You buried.
I buried them up to their neck and I ran them over with a lawnmower. I mean, I buried them. You know, the thing is, it's hard to say when you bury somebody that you didn't intend to kill them.
You buried them in the backyard of that house in Albany.
Right.
At what point did they become deceased?
No, it's you know, manipulating a body after death, but I mean, the bigger charge is murder. So
I need to see a calendar.
It's difficult to wrap my head around somebody who thinks this way. You know, remember Jack Kevorkian? I mean, how many people did he help? You know, assist with their suicide? A lot, and he got a lot of years in prison.
Sometime August 2017.
And did they die at your hand? That's the question.
Right. I'll have to leave it for that statement.
But that's not in the statement. And I think
Right.
it's important for people to know what happened to your parents.
Right.
They were your parents. You loved them. They were deteriorating. What did you do?
I will.
Don't tell me you're going to leave it to the statement, because it's
Well,
not in the statement.
I know.
What did you do to your parents?
My goal is for the American people to recognize that there's 40 million boomers. They're all going to go through the same kind of problems. It affects all of us, and we need to widen up the law so that people can deal with these kind of problems.
So widen up the law so that you can kill those people that are closest to you, so you can get their inheritance.
In a humane way, in a whatever way that people can deal with.
You know, we had a billionaire. I don't know if he was a billionaire, but we had a guy here by the name of Erwin Jacobs. He was like $100 million in debt, and he was a big player here in the Twin Cities for a long, long time. And his wife was declining, and he wound up shooting her and then took his own life. You know, it's tough when you see these mercy type killings. Because on the one hand, you know, you don't want to see somebody suffer, but on the other hand, you don't have the authority to kill somebody. You just don't, no matter how humane you think you're being.
And I did my duty to my parents.
I did my duty to my parents. That means he did that. I mean, that's an admission.
So you ended their lives.
I won't.
You're saying that without actually saying that word. I want to hear you say that word. You
Yes.
ended their lives.
I have
to give them mercy. You're saying.
I have to plead my Fifth Amendment rights until I can disclose it with my statement there.
Did you have any?
You've already given up the ghost.
Did you have any concern that whatever you did was wrong?
I would never have done such a thing if I ever did it, knowing it's wrong.
Sounds a little like OJ, right? If I did it.
So you believe what you did was right. You believe taking your parents' lives was the right thing to do for their sake.
If I did it, absolutely that.
But you did do it. You're saying to us that you did it.
There's a statement there that we'll deal with more later.
Well, you buried them, and you admitted to burying them. So, were they alive when you buried them? I mean, were they breathing when you put dirt on their mouths?
If you want to know.
Lawrence, I appreciate that, and we'll talk about your statement, but show me where in this statement it says that you killed your parents. It doesn't. It doesn't talk
Right.
about the fate of your parents here. You
Right.
keep talking about the statement answering my question, but the statement does not answer my question. It's the question people want to know. And I think they need to hear it from you.
Yes, there's time for that.
And I think now's the time. Did you kill your parents to put them out of their misery?
My concern for their misery was paramount.
You know, there's a guy who, I think it's PP Texas or whatever. This is the guy that talks to the sex offenders and, hey, well, you're not really that bad a guy, are you? You know, and there's an art to getting somebody to talk, especially when they want to talk. I mean, why would you be on a news program if you don't want to sit there and tell everybody what happened?
It was a huge burden to have to face this coming up. You know, this is a horrible situation.
Sure. So you alleviated that burden.
You're a good questioner. I have to protect my Fifth Amendment rights on this until the right time.
Dude, you're sitting down in an interview with a news reporter, and you've already given up the ghost for the most part.
Until the right time.
I'm not an attorney. I'm not an officer of the law. You know, you don't have to say that to me.
Yes, but I mean, whatever I say here is going to be held against me elsewhere, right?
Of course, but
That's some presence of mind, knowing what he's doing, right?
you probably answer to a higher authority anyway in the long run. So I
Right.
think you can tell us what happened. Did you kill your parents together at the same time in the same place? What method did you use?
All of that, all that kind of stuff I would answer later with that deal with the American people. But I'm not going to speak about such things like that.
But you have a chance to tell the American people right now.
I want their feedback on my statement. Then I can believe that I can tell the truth uninhibited.
You're probably going to be in a 6 foot by 8 foot cell, and you won't be able to respond. So do it now.
You don't think you're going to get better feedback if you're honest with them? And tell us what happened?
I put things in the right order. That have to be in the right order. But it's very important that insofar as exculpatory material, the police have that statement from my mother regarding what happened to her, crossing the street at Wolf Road, falling down,
Right.
And she also had a problem with, she mentioned she was getting lines in her eyes for some reason. And there was I don't know what that would be.
That was the prelude that helped set things in motion, you're saying.
That was the...
That started your parents' downhill trend, health-wise.
Yes, but also the letter from her to me said, do something. Or this you need to know this in a way that was...
Your parents asked you to kill them?
Does that stretch credulity?
Or to take their lives in a merciful fashion?
I think they want me to take responsibility for things.
They asked you to take their lives? To do what they couldn't do?
Implicitly, but not explicitly.
So you were just...
In other words, no, they didn't. I mean, people have medical directives, right? So, like, do not resuscitate. And so if I wind up being on the table and in a car accident and it looks like I'm going to die anyway, don't use extraordinary measures to keep me alive. Or if I'm going downhill, and I can only be kept alive by machines, don't bother. All right. So according to CBS News, and I'm breaking into kind of a little bit of context here. This interview with Lorenz Kraus came a day after police say they recovered 2 bodies from the home in Albany as part of an investigation that found Kraus's parents, Franz and Teresa Kraus. They were receiving Social Security payments despite not having been heard or seen from in years. So Lorenz Kraus contacted the CBS affiliate, WRGB-TV, and sat for a half-hour interview in which he described the deaths as mercy killings for aging parents. However, he's been collecting their Social Security for that time. So we think that you're a little messed up here. Just to let you know, this is brought to you by AskALawyer.com. For $49, you can get a living, breathing, human being lawyer. Are lawyers human beings? We've been accused, of not being human, but we are. And if you have a case, or if you're looking at suing somebody, or somebody suing you, or if you got some kind of legal issue and you need advice, for $49, you can get a decent lawyer. If you don't have a claim, you need to know that too sometimes, if you're doing your own legal research, they have an AI component that's trained in all the 50 states. So, it's an incredible legal resource. If you are suing your landlord, or if you got a dispute with somebody, there's no better way to run something by a lawyer for almost nothing. I mean, it's really reasonable. It's money well spent. So go to AskALawyer.com. They're good folks because they're the same people that brought you e-sign and e-forms, the same people. And, they're a good sponsor of our channel, so I'll give them some love.
So you were just granting their wishes?
My mother, after my sister died, my mother would give me these do not resuscitate things every few months.
There's a difference between do not resuscitate and bury me in the backyard. There just is. And there's a difference between, okay, I'm going to kill you so I can get your benefits, as opposed to I'm on a machine and I don't want to be revived.
And she wanted to die, given her grief for my sister, her daughter.
And you loved your parents and you wanted to honor their wishes.
You know, there's something special about our family that we can somehow read each other's minds, and so being things explicit.
Really? You can read each other's minds? I think I saw a Twilight Zone episode about that.
So being things explicit isn't necessarily, you know, I could complete my grandmother's sentences for her, and she would say, "Well, you know." So I mean,
What the fuck are you talking about?
the context of all this became to bear on me.
It's been said that, you know, if the news outlet is acting like an arm of the police, there's issues about whether or not this can be used. That's BS, because he's not in custody. So Miranda does not attach. You know what Miranda is? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney, blah, blah, blah. That only attaches if there's in custody interrogation. He's free to leave. And so there's no Miranda, there's no issue with anybody using this for any purpose, especially prosecuting him. And here's the other thing. Oh, well, he might not be in his right mind. Bullshit. He killed them to keep their fucking benefits. I mean that's and he's telling you he's got a rational reason for doing this, supposedly, but he knows that it's wrong. And he even talks about changing the law. And knowing, and then he's invoking his Fifth Amendment right, but he's really kind of waving it here.
Did one parent, did your mom or your dad more so than the other, ask you to take their lives?
They didn't explicitly say that, but they made it clear that they were going downhill.
Is that what they said? Please don't. Did they say that?
They were going downhill.
When it actually happened, when your parents died, did they know it was happening to them?
Oh, yeah.
And they knew it was at,
Oh, yeah. Okay. There's an awareness. I mean, listen to all this stuff.
knew it was at your hand?
Well, yes, no one else's.
Right. So they realized what you were doing to them as it happened.
Yes,
They knew that this was it for them, that they were perishing at your hand.
yes. And it was so quick.
And then did they realize that you're going to keep collecting their benefits? Here's the thing. They hadn't been heard of for fucking years. It's not like he just killed them last week and now he's coming forward. You know, this sparked as an investigation. The neighbors thought they moved back to Germany. You know, and here their Social Security checks are still coming every day. He buried him in the fucking backyard.
And it was so quick.
How did you do it?
Yeah, I can't talk about that.
Well, you've just told us that
Right.
it was at your hand.
Right.
Were there drugs involved? Was
No.
there a suffocation? You suffocated them?
Suffocated. Okay, that's mercy. God, I tell you, if it weren't for drugs, alcohol, and dumb decisions, I wouldn't have a job.
Suffocated them. You suffocated your parents.
Yeah.
So much for your Fifth Amendment rights that you were trying to protect. Jeez, what a dumb shit.
That was the best way to take their lives, through suffocation.
Basically.
Which parent did you suffocate first?
My father, and after he died, my mother put her head on his chest, and she was there for a few hours, and then I finished her.
And then what?
Cold. You suffocated your parents. You couldn't just do the quick and easy thing. It's just zot them right in the back of the head while they're eating their Wheaties.
And then what did you do? Did you bury them immediately?
No. I didn't know what to do after that. I was thinking what to do. It took me several days to realize I can't do this, I can't do that. Just bury them on the property, and it was wide open, sunlight. I remember my sister, she received either a gift of a lamb or a lamb was given to her upon her funeral, but that lamb showed up, and I put it on my mother's grave, and the police must have that. now too.
You call it a grave? You bury them in the backyard, you see it as a grave?
Well, I bury them, and I put a thing around my mother's grave, and and I planted a peach tree next to her, and I put that there.
How many feet did you go down? I mean, did you do the requisite statutory 6 feet, or did you, do 4.5 to 3 feet and not really, comply with the ordinance on how people are supposed to be disposed of? I mean, I really don't get why the hell this guy's talking to the media. I mean,
What did you think as you were doing it? As you were taking their lives? What was going through your head?
Not thoughts, action. Make sure it's done, and not fool around, not make a mistake. But I'm sure the police are going to say what an incompetent idiot I am on that. But
this reflection on what the police are going to say and your Fifth Amendment rights and all that shows an awareness of the consequences and that right from wrong.
Did they both pass away peacefully?
No, they were fucking smothered by this son of a bitch. Are you kidding me? They pass away peacefully. What the fuck are you saying? I mean, does that seem peaceful to you? Here, lie down. Let me put a pillow on your fucking head. How peaceful is that as you're fucking gasping for air? Jesus Christ, what a dumb question.
Did they struggle as you did it?
I would say the last minute, no. But they're, I think my father died very quickly, like surprisingly quickly. That shocked me. And then, the part with my mother, went quickly too.
Did you realize what you were doing, as righteous as you may have thought it was illegal? And
Oh yeah.
Did you realize that it was illegal? Of course I did. Why do you think I buried them in the fucking backyard? I didn't want anybody to know. And why did I keep collecting the Social Security checks?
You knew you were breaking the law. You knew you were...
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have to squeeze the law to fit the humans, not us, the humans to fit the law. And we have 40 million boomers. They're all going to suffer.
So we're a law of men, not a land of laws, I mean, give me a break.
Suffered a horrible death, typically. My mother always if somebody died in their home, she would say, great, the person died with their boots on, instead of going to a hospital and going through a meat processing factory kind of thing. So they were both children of World War II. My mother was born in 42. She was a toddler. She told me she would follow funerals behind the horse and wagon. This is the kind of world she grew up in. My father was at age 12 in a communist concentration camp for 3 years. So they had very serious lives, given the globe, the genocidal British geopolitics, as I call it. So they were not fooling around on things. They were serious people.
When you were doing this, did you think about the financial ramifications, the fact that you would continue to take their government money?
Once that happens, then what do you do?
What do you do? I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, hey, they're dead, so they're not going to miss the money anyway, right? I mean, so no harm, no foul. I mean, give me a fucking break.
The government is pissed because I took the Social Security money and gave it to people who are starving in the Philippines. Okay, then, be angry about that. But the police know all the money that I have went to people to help them, thousands of dollars. I gave almost, not all of it away because there was still a lot left. But I gave away, I didn't play with the money, I gave it away. I didn't enrich myself.
Does that justify what you did?
No, but this is not a kill for money case, is important to say.
The motive for the killings doesn't matter. It could be an ill motive, like, killing for the money, or it could be a mercy killing, because they were suffering and I wanted to end their suffering. It doesn't matter. It's still murder one. It's a premeditated murder.
It's I was helping people before that just fine. So it didn't. The issue of taking my parents' money for other purposes related to that doesn't fit. That's why the police, they had a theory going which we talked about on Tuesday, and they wanted to try to say that this was taking their money to give away to other people, but it was that other part is the primary.
I've had cases where I had one case where this woman worked for an apartment complex. This guy had a bunch of different apartments, and it was a pretty big outfit. And over the course of about 6 or 7 years, she stole about $1.5 million. And she didn't use a dollar for herself. It was all, I buy my granddaughter a trip. I bought this person, I paid for their tuition. And it was all to help other people. But the overarching theme was it made her look good. You know what I mean? It made her look like a hitter, like she's this magnanimous person. And really, she's feeding her own ego throughout this. Meanwhile, she's ripping somebody off. So what he's really saying is, I didn't enrich myself. I gave this money to people who needed it more than the government needed it. Well, here's the thing. Dude, that's a selfish reason in and of itself, because you look like, you're some Robin Hood. Give me a break.
Someone called that blood money.
Right, and I was giving it away.
But it's still blood money.
Well,
give it away, give it away, give it away now.
If you kill to take somebody's money away, that's blood money. But if what was I supposed to do with this money?
I don't know. Not take it? Fuck.
Again, I couldn't tell anyone. The government needs to have an office where you can say, this is something that happened, and here's how it happens, and they need to.
Yeah, here's the office of a non-consequential confessions. Where I go to the office, I killed my parents. Oh, good. Thanks for telling us. Okay, have a good day now. What the fuck is he talking about?
Deal with these kind of problems in an open way. Everything in this country is hidden away. And this is a societal crisis. Again, 40 million people are going to deal with this, and maybe.
We don't have assisted suicide in this country. We just don't.
A multiple of that given their friends and family. It's a reality of human experience. And I just wanted to say, in 2020, there was this YouTube channel called Tribe of the Fox, and they did a video called The Mannerbunde. And they explained how in the ancient times, they had men who would do this for the elderly. So they wouldn't.
We're not in ancient times anymore, my friend. We have extraordinary measures that can help people, but the thing about it is, aging parents, are aging parents. They die, and that slow decline is hard to watch. I watched my mother die. She was 55 pounds when she died at 63 years old. She had cancer, and my father died of colon cancer. He was a jerk, so I didn't really care about that one. I don't mean to be callous, but aging parents is part of life. It's just what happens, and doesn't give you the right, because you have certain beliefs, to go against the law. You just don't. So this is premeditated, cold-blooded murder for whatever purpose. But he might say this and that, but he smothered them and he snuffed them out. And then he kept taking their money. That is what happened. And he knows about this. It's not like he doesn't have a mental health defense. As you can see, he knows right from wrong. As you can see, he knows the consequences of what's going on. as you can see, he can appreciate the illegality of what he's doing. So, I mean, this is very difficult for a defense lawyer because, first of all, it's all out there. So you just described how they died, what you did with the bodies, and that you kept the money to do whatever you wanted to with it. And if you wanted to be magnanimous with the money because it made you feel good, well, that's all well and good, but that's just icing on the cake for a prosecutor.
So they wouldn't have to suffer. And of course, the ancient Greeks always believed in dying on the battlefield rather than dying, in a bag of bones, like a bag of bones. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, culturally, America is totally different.
They didn't die on a battlefield, though. It sounds like they died in their beds with a pillow over their faces.
That's what it sounds like to me.
No, but you could put it that way.
I mean, it wasn't a battlefield.
Well, right. It's not. I mean, the preference of people of the ancient Greeks was to die on the battlefield rather than die so infirm that you had nothing.
Was it a pillow that you used?
No.
What did you use to suffocate them?
For my father, my hand. For my mother, a rope.
Well, that's pretty personal. So you just put your hand over their mouth so they couldn't fucking breathe.
So you strangled her?
Yeah, that would seem better.
It was strangulation, not suffocation.
Yeah. Oh my God. Honestly. So you choked her to death, and you choked your father, and you put your...
Not suffocation?
Well, it's the same. No, denial of oxygen.
Okay.
But also blood circulation.
So you cut off the oxygen to both of them. That was your method.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that this has come to light and the police started investigating, and do you have any regrets?
I did the right thing for them based on the situation. I did my duty to them as a son, and that's.
He sort of caved quickly, don't you think? I mean, I don't want to say that. I want to just preserve my Fifth Amendment right. But yeah, I choked the shit out of him and killed him. I mean, he didn't take him long.
That's everything fell into place. I don't know how it happened that it all fell into place, but it did. And so no, I don't have. It's a horrible situation to be in. One does one's duty, and one is done. The issue of regrets.
Newsflash: it wasn't your duty to end their lives like that. Did it just become too much for you to care for them, or were you even in fact caring for them? I mean, it just seems to me that this is your excuse of how you took their lives and then took their money.
Regrets. I can't say this. It's a regrettable experience, a regrettable situation, and of course, life is horrible. It has horrible moments in life. But that's that.
I just want to make sure I have it correct, because I'm a journalist and facts are important. You used your hand, a single hand, to kill your father?
Right.
Putting it over his nose, and you choked him? Okay.
Yeah.
And you did the same with your mother, but with a rope? You choked her with a rope?
No. Just a rope.
Right, I'm sorry, but I meant you choked her with a rope, though, instead of your hand.
Right.
Okay.
That seems particularly cruel, doesn't it? That you choked her with a rope? I mean, it doesn't seem like it's humane to me.
Are you on any medications today?
No. Well, no.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Is your mind clear and...
I'm just a little sleepy, but I'm trying to keep my eyes open, but that's okay.
Okay, but you have no mental disabilities that are affecting what you're saying here today?
Correct.
You're confident in what you said and clear of mind as you say all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would appreciate. I hope that you can put this on YouTube, the whole thing.
I'm sure we'll put this on.
Well, thanks for that little endorsement. This is Criminal Lawyer Reacts, reacting to the dumbest criminal ever to live on the planet. He kills his two parents and then goes on a broadcast.
And are you ready to face the consequences now with the police and the authorities?
Yes, but I would like the American people to also read my statement so that everybody can have something to appeal to on this. I know my statement is
irrelevant. Your statement is irrelevant. You shouldn't have done this.
You know, I'm not really concerned about the police or the courts or anything. There's something much bigger in life, and we have to deal with the big things in life.
Okay. But again, just to be certain, in 2017, you took your father's life.
Correct.
And then moments later, or a short time later, you took your mother's life on that same day.
Right. No, well,
So they died in 2017. So let's see, that's 8 years ago. And this is just a few days ago. He's been living a lie for 8 years. So he's collected their fucking checks for 8 years. And he says there's still a lot left. So in other words, he's using the money for whatever purpose, even if he's given some of it away. But he's living on it for 8 years. So it's probably $500,000 that he's absconded with or more.
see, that's the thing. It was late at night, and it was like late evening on one day into early morning next.
So within hours of each other.
Right.
What did you do between the taking of your father's life and the taking of your mother's life?
I'm trying to remember, because there was.
I had some Fruity Pebbles and put bananas on them, and then watched some Rockford Files, and just kind of chilled for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Did you sit with your mother? Were the three of you together in one
Well,
room?
before they died, my father was here, my mother was here, and I told them what happened to me and my sister after she died. And my sister died in the house too, because when she died from the cancer. But she died in May of 1988, and then in that fall was I was doing my 11th grade now then, and there was I had to do a paper in a big test, so I did an overnighter to do that test, and then tried to do a second overnighter to finish that paper or something, and I crawled into bed at like 2:45 in the morning, and sometime then after I popped out of my body, and I started floating up to the ceiling. I saw the nooks and crannies, and I acknowledged that the nooks and crannies of the ceiling, and then the whole world disappeared, and I was in this big black void, and I was.
Really? Tell me more.
It was rushing by, and then I saw my sister in a doorway in profile. Anyhow, after that,
This is bullshit. I think this is an attempt to manufacture a mental health defense. That's what this looks like to me. They call it malingering.
So it was like a near-death experience kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so I told my parents about that experience, and I told them it's time, go find Rosa. My sister's name was Rosa, and so my father just died so quickly. And I told him find Rosa, and that's that.
And then again, just take me through, after your mother died, how long was it before you buried them? Approximately.
Like 2 or 3 days, actually.
So
they sit there and they're decomposing bodies, smelling to high heaven, and then you bury them in the backyard.
parents' deceased bodies were in your house with you for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
And then you decided you had to do something to cover up your crimes or to properly bury them and send them on their way?
Right. I mean, I needed to, yeah, I mean, basically, I had to bury
8
them.
years.
Was the burial to cover up your crime? You didn't want to be found out.
Right, of course. I mean, what to do?
Oh, what to do? You know, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry.
So again, the thing to do just occurred to me. Oh, she can fit here and he can fit there, and then just do it. And it was done. And that's that.
Have you lived with fear of being found out all these years?
Now, this is a good question because this kind of goes to his state of mind, even after the crime.
I struggle to do other things with my life to try to make something great out of it. Because if that's what I know that they would not want me to rot away to death in prison over this. And I have a duty to everyone to make the best out of my life and in the end do what's best for the people of Germany, really. I call it being a Volkssaver. It took me years to understand all this, but I learned a lot in the last eight years that I never knew before, and I learned self-educated in so many ways. So I did not. The issue of being caught is I was able to buy time to solve huge problems, and that's worth it in many ways. To the American people, to me, and
buying time. That's an interesting way to put it. All right, so fast forward to the end of the interview. Guess who was watching? Guess who was notified?
I know. Yes. Yeah. So we just got to put the confession right. Play it. But at 5 o'clock, we got to just go to that confession part. You don't want to show the confession at 5? Right.
So that's him right outside the station. What fucking dumb shit. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen anybody so stupid in my life. So then they interview him. They interview him at the jailhouse. Let's just take a little bit of that.
He was a little lost and unsure of what to say in the first interview at times because it was so new. But now he's in jail. He has time to think. And he was in jail because I, in essence, talked to him the day before. I thought he would be much more reticent to talk, but he continued being willing to talk. It wasn't until a public defender who happened to be in the jail visiting area with another client saw what was happening, and it's the public defender's office that's representing him right now, tried to shut down the interview after one question. I asked Mr. Kraus, do you want to keep talking? And he said, sure. And but then after about 6 or 7 questions, the lawyer said, that's it. You're standing up. You're walking out with me right now. And that was the end of the
Yeah, I wouldn't allow that at all.
Thank you for seeing us again, Lawrence. Since you told me yesterday that
This reporter can't get enough of this story.
that you killed your parents, do you feel a sense of relief today about that?
not any extra relief.
Did you all of a sudden develop an affinity for wearing orange and slides that are graciously gifted to you by the hotel that you're now staying in?
No, not at all.
The world knows what happened now? That doesn't...
I mean, that does help. I think. I'm glad that people know about my statement. That's important to me.
But I think people out there care about your parents and what happened to them.
Yes.
Can we just go through that again very quickly? That night that you decided to take their lives.
When you decide to take a life, it really doesn't matter why you decide to take a life, unless it's like self-defense. If you're protecting yourself, believing you to be in fear of your life, you can take another life under certain circumstances. And everything you do has to be reasonable. It can't be just willy-nilly. Oh, I thought Robert was going to shoot me. He doesn't have a gun and he wasn't anywhere near me, but I just shot him in the back anyway. It can't be like that. And when you take a life like this, it stretches credulity that it was a mercy killing. It seemed to me that, he fucking chokes him out with his bare hands. That seemed, and then with his mom, he used a rope. It seems to me to be a little cruel. But he's trying to paint himself as this magnanimous character concerned with the well-being of, our society and aging parents and blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you, it never ceases to amaze me the stupid shit people do. So that's our reaction to Mr. Kraus, who is now a guest of the inn, and I guess he pled not guilty, but, he's got no defense. So we'll see you next time here on Criminally Reacts. Make sure you go to CLRBruceRivers.com for all of your merch needs. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Patreon. Become a member to Patreon. If you sign up and you're a paying member on Patreon, we'll get you one of these lovely trucker hats where you can spread the message that Mr. Kraus didn't get. Stop self-snitching. This is the ultimate self-snitch I've ever seen. So we'll see you next time. Criminally Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, police is at my God.